Alright, back doing another video here, and that's actually continue on with our little series here, our one video series so far on medical trauma kits. Got a little bit of feedback from the last one, and there seemed to be a little bit of interest in it, but you know, this is the kit. You know, we've already looked at this one in depth, this kit right here, and showed you what was in it and why I put stuff in there. But I remember, if you remember, I was telling you about a lightweight kit that I wanted to be coming up with next. Well, I had a lot of stuff for a few things on order, and I was looking at them, kind of going over them, and I finally got the last piece in the mail today. So I'll show you that. You know, as you know, what you've already seen what was in this one. So it's pretty extensive. The one I'm doing now is much lighter, quite a bit smaller, and more specific. So this is a little bit heavy to throw in a bag. Sometimes it's almost a standalone kit, but this next one should be something that you could throw in a bag along with other stuff. It's not a fully comprehensive first aid kit. This is strictly a trauma / blowout kit, and this is kind of how I put mine together. There's a couple of new components in here. They're fairly new on the market. Not a lot of there's not a lot of airtime on them, but I was able to track these down. So I'll show you this next. Wait for the car to pass. I'm outside. I have to deal with what's going on here. So this is the new kit right here. As you can see, it's in a 6x9. I think this is a 6x9 lock sack, lock sack. And there's a reason for that. I'll tell you that in a minute. But I haven't really found a bag that I want to use for this yet, and maybe I don't even need it. But I'll show you how I scaled everything down, and I think it will be just as effective, and also in the sense that you may actually have this one with you instead of this one. You can see the size difference. I mean, this is only like maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick total, and I think you could probably compress it down even more. There's a few things I can do to make it even smaller, but I want to keep them packaged for now. Of course, you can see how thick that is. And I mean, this weighs, I should weigh it, but it's probably 5 ounces, 6 ounces maybe. Maybe a little bit more than that, but not much. It's a little bit more than a small first aid kit that you buy from, at REI or whatever. But it's much more specialized, and I'll get into that. So basically what you have here is a lock sack. These are obviously waterproof. You can go onto their website. They're waterproof down to 200 feet, which isn't really an issue in this because I think most of these things are pre-packaged, and and even the stuff that isn't doesn't really matter if it gets wet. So this is just kind of hold everything together. I found this. I had this laying around, and I actually ended up liking the way this works. I don't think you could overstuff this bag though, because it opens from the side, which is, it'll pop open. So you got to be careful about overloading it, but that's not the point. So the first thing that I have in here, and if I was going to do this in a bag, I'd probably have this on the outside of the bag, first thing to get to, but nonetheless, it's actually fairly easy to get to here. This is a Rass tourniquet. Now, the one I showed you before was a a soft T military tourniquet. This is a Rass tourniquet. It's a guy who invented it, just a really small company, and he came up with this idea of having, from what I can tell, a very fast-acting tourniquet that's fairly lightweight. It's a lot smaller. Maybe I'll show you that in comparison to the soft T. See the difference? So here's the soft T tourniquet, and it compresses okay, but it's got a lot of things sticking out, and this is fairly heavy. I did weigh these two, and I think this one comes in at about under 2 ounces, and this is about 4 ounces. So this is half the weight of this one. So if weight's a concern, and that's why I'm putting it in there. So I discovered this new style here, and I'll show you how this works. And again, full disclosure, I'm not medical personnel, but it does come with a fairly intuitive instruction sheet on how it works. And if you don't know how it works, it can be a problem. So this may be a slight review of this. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth later on, but it has a little loop here to remind you that this is a 3-finger loop. And I showed this to a few people who weren't trained in it, and the first thing they did was slide this open and put it around here and then start messing with it. So this is, you know, in my mind, this is kind of a user research thing, and you do need to be somewhat trained on how to use this. It's not something that if you're in a panic situation that's as easy as this one right here. And I'll say that's a definite advantage of the soft T and even the cat tourniquet, which is similar. You just put it on, pull it tight, and twist it like I showed in the last video. It's very intuitive. When you're under pressure, it's fairly easy to figure out. This one's a little different. So it's got this cleat right here, and then it's looped through. They call it a 3-finger loop. It's actually, you know, you could probably make it a little smaller, you know, but the 3-finger loop is about right there. So the thing you got to remember on this one is to slide. You basically have to make kind of a half, I think it's a half hitch, and you make a loop out of it. See that? And that's where you get your leverage. Then you slide your arm through that, and then you put it on here. I'm running out of space here, but I might show how to do this more in depth. But you basically, that's what gives you your leverage. Now you pull, and you wrap, and you wrap, and you wrap as many times as you can. And I'm not going to do it tight. I could probably get another one out of there, and then you slide it in this cleat right here. And of course, I think you can slide it all the way in and lock it, but I'm not going to do that. You don't really need to. But it really, what's nice about this one is it spreads out the load over a couple of inches. If it's a smaller appendage, if it's a bigger, if it's like a leg, you're only really going to get maybe 1 or maybe 2 wraps out of it, hopefully 3. But the key is that you want to pull it, you know, as tight as you can right here, and this is where you get your leverage. So you're pulling it, and actually that's cutting off circulation right there as we do that. And it's supposedly a very quick, fast-acting, as you know, because it's rapid application tourniquet, and apparently it can cut off circulation faster or as fast as anything on the market. But again, that's the one downside I see to this product, is that, you know, you do have to train with it. It's not as intuitive. You know, if you're in a panic situation, you're gonna and somebody wasn't trained on this, you'd hand it to them, or, you know, they wouldn't know what to do with it, you know, unless they were really trained in this kind of thing. If you know this one, if you know that you have to put it in a half hitch, it's not a problem. It becomes then extremely easy to use. And then you can wrap it around. I think you can actually use one cleat, and then you can wrap it around the other cleat to really lock it down. So it's really well designed. I mean, it's a well thought out product, and so that's why I put it in here. And I wouldn't hesitate using this thing at all. And again, the thing I like about it most is that you can kind of loop it up and fold it into a very tight, lightweight package. And this is not bungee cord, so that's the other thing. Is this is a vulcanized rubber, so it's a solid piece of rubber in there, covered in some sort of nylon material. It's almost an oval. You can see it here. It's almost an oval-shaped piece of rubber, and that's what spreads out the load way better than like a bungee cord would do. And it actually is really effective. So he's done a pretty good job of designing this thing, I would think. I recommend this product. You can get it in 3 different colors: red, black, and blaze orange. So, you know, if you're a hunter and, you know, you see this as something you could, you know, integrate onto your hunting kit, you know, that might be a good scenario, because it's nice and bright. And again, this thing I'm designing here now, this product that I'm putting together, not product, but series of products, this kit, let's get rid of that for now, I'm putting together, is more for the civilian. You know, there's not a lot of, you know, I didn't go with black and, you know, covert stuff. We talked about that before. This one, now what I did here is I also got in the kit, move on to the next product, I guess, is the thing. So your first line of defense is obviously your tourniquet, as in the other kit, same thing, but lighter. Next one is still an Israeli bandage. We covered that in the other kit. However, this one is, and I'll show you a comparison, size comparison again. This is a 4-inch one, and they started making these not too long ago. I think maybe a year. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they started making these about a year ago. Somebody will probably correct me on that one, but there's a 4-inch, so it's slightly smaller. So here's the 6-inch, and you can see the amount of real estate that one takes up. Now you're going to get more, you know, coverage with that, obviously, but it's heavier, you know. And what I'm trying to do is, you know, make something that I will want to carry all the time. So that goes into my big kit. Okay, so you got a 4-inch Israeli bandage. Now, these are double. You know, I think we mentioned this before, and some people will take this package, this outer foil package, off, and it'll still be vacuum sealed in a clear package. And you know, that may be what I end up doing. It saves a bit of space. You get rid of this kind of stuff on the outside, so you might be able to even get a smaller kit out of it. But on order, I have 2 civilian versions of these, and they're slightly lighter, and they're also white. So again, it goes with that theme of, you know, you don't want to be hidden like in the military. You want to be seen, because it'll probably be a car accident, a gunshot wound at a range, or a mall, or something bad happens, and you want to be seen by other emergency personnel. This will get you to safety. That's the whole idea. It'll get you taken care of so you don't bleed out really fast, and then you can get to safety. So not as much coverage with the 4-inch, but you know, it's still a pretty darn good bandage, you know. And again, I have some civilian ones coming, and I'll show those later. They're slightly lighter, but they're the same exact thing, same company, same everything. Of course, these are made in Israel. They're called a emergency bandage, and otherwise known as the Israeli bandage. I may do a video on how these work later, but there's quite a few videos online on how to use these things. They're fairly straightforward. Pressure bandage. 1 pair of gloves, 7mm thick gloves, like in my other kit. 1 pair. Maybe I'll throw in a set of real cheap ones, whatever. The small compressed gauze by North American Rescue. North American Rescue gloves, North American compressed gauze, small. Fits in that kit really nice. And then I have 1 single occlusive dressing. This is another chest seal. Now this only has 1 in it, and it's a lot smaller than the Halo chest seal that's in my bigger kit. The Halo is in some ways, from what I understand, superior to it. So you can see the packaging is just slightly, it's not a lot smaller, but a lot of people there's pretty good reviews from agencies, police agencies around the country, using the Hyphen, which is also a North American Rescue product. It's got an NSN number, both of these do, so they're both military. National stock number means it's a military number, so the military can order it. It qualifies, so they're both good quality. The Halo has had a lot more, I guess, field use from what I understand. So, and this comes with 2 seals. This is 1. So again, we're talking minimalistic. It's less weight. It is less weight. It's thinner, and it's a little bit smaller. So that's why I'm going with a very minimalist kit. Remember, if you don't have it on you because it's too big, and you don't have anything on you, it's better to have a small kit than nothing. And you may be able to even do something. Now you also have a plastic bag here, which you can use for a secondary. You can cut that out and tape it. I do not have tape in this thing. It's one thing that will probably need to be added, but I'd like to just figure out something for flat tape. And you can make a secondary dressing out of this, from what I understand. Tape 3 sides, lets it vent, just like this does. So you have kind of a minimalist kit. And then also, I also threw in some 5.5-inch, so a slightly smaller medical shears. And you know, the typical standard size is, I think they're a 7-inch or a 7.5-inch, and you can see they're quite a bit bigger when you compare them side by side. So this is considered a let's see if you can see that. Make sure 5.5-inch style total length to a 7.5-inch total, you know, length. And of course, these are more comfortable. They're like big scissors, but again, you're going for weight. These are the same thing. They're basically the same product. Prestige Medical. I don't know if they're the exact same brand. Anyways, they're the same type of deal. Autoclave, fluoride coated, whatever. Scissors. You know, you probably, you know, you may need it to cut and trim gauze. This packed here, but again, it's lightweight, and small, and fairly cheap. They overcharged me for these, by the way. They're supposed to throw in 2 on Amazon. I got to talk to them and see if I can get the second one. Haven't heard from them. So that's basically what's in this kit, and I want to try to keep it minimal. So this amount of stuff right here. Again, let's see if am I out of frame here? Let me see. So you basically got all this stuff here. Tourniquet, first line of defense. Of course, well, for your gloves, really first if you're helping somebody else. Tourniquet if it's really a bad bleeder. This thing kind of, it's you know, this Israeli bandage if it's a bad bleeder but not an artery, from what I understand, so it's a standard pressure. but the smaller size. And again, they make a civilian version, white gauze, good quality, fairly expensive. This stuff is actually pretty expensive. I think it's around $6 or $7 for this because it's packaged tight. Maybe that's, I don't know, but it is a nice product the way they have it packaged up. Of course, medical shears and a single individual chest seal. And these are expensive. These are actually more expensive than the Halo, but I wanted to check the product out and see how it packaged and see if it would fit in my kit, and it does. It fits perfectly right in this bag. I guess I could throw a Halo one in there as well, but so that's kind of the individual sort of first aid blowout kit, minimalist style. And you know, I'm pretty fascinated by this stuff, and I might actually start making these kits and making them available to the public. I don't have a great solution for the bag yet. I'd like to develop something that's actually lighter than a lot of the stuff on the market. It's very military grade and very, you know, 10,000 whatever denier. You know, it's the very thick webbing material or nylon material. Let's even that up. But this is actually, you know, I would probably carry it just like this. I might throw a couple of extra items in, but this would supplement my lightweight first aid. Keep dropping that. This would supplement my normal lightweight first aid kit that I already carry in my backpack. It would be a nice separate trauma kit for that. And so it goes in like that. Again, fairly straightforward. Let's put the gloves in there, in the middle, and then set this right on top. And you got to kind of pack it in there tight. It's definitely not a loose fit on here, but again, if you took that Israeli bandage and you took the outer package on, you'd save a little space and maybe able to cram another set of gloves in there. But that's kind of the minimalist kit right there, you know, individual, oopsie, kind of, I cut my arm or shot a hole in my leg, or somebody one of your buddies caught a bullet at the range in the chest. You might be able to save their life with something like this. It's pretty minimalistic. Okay, so you basically saw the lightweight first aid kit. I showed you that version of it, and it's something I've been working on and still haven't completely developed, but it's in the process. I'm still looking at ways of packaging it. As you can see right here, it's still fairly light, thin, and I could throw something like this in my bag, as we talked about before. But the cool thing about this video, and this is that was only one part of it. Now, we want to, with this kit, my wife and I have decided that on behalf of this channel, Designed to Survive, we're going to give it away. So it's going to be given to one of you lucky viewers and supporters of the channel. Again, I'd like to do more videos in the future, but we've gotten up to 500 or so subscribers, or really close to 500 subscribers. That's a big milestone for us, and as a token of our appreciation, we're going to be giving this kit away. Now, if you buy this on the market, you could expect to pay probably 130 bucks, 120 bucks, all the way up to, I've seen, 150 bucks, with about the same amount of stuff in it. Mine might be a little bit more minimalistic, but some people substitute the Israeli bandage for a small pack of Quick Clot. I won't use Quick Clot unless I really have to. I have some, but I just don't like it. So the Israeli bandage takes up a little space. It's a little expensive, but in some ways, but you know, that's what we want to do. So we want to be able to give this kit as I've described. Now remember, again, it's up to you. It's up to you, the viewer, the user of this kit, to open up the contents, download the information. Again, we are not giving medical advice here. These are all individually packed. I haven't opened, other than the tourniquet, which wasn't you know, sealed in any container or anything. I'm keeping everything pretty much as I bought it. That's why I'm not taking the package off the Israeli tourniquet. That's up to you. If you want to do that, that's fine. But again, learn what's in here, learn about it, and figure out for yourself what you would use. If you don't know how to use it, take it out of the kit. Don't put it in there. It's not worth having it. You may cause more trouble than it's worth. But again, we're going to figure out a way in the next couple weeks of giving this away. We haven't figured out the exact terms yet, It's probably going to be a random drawing of a subscriber, so subscribe. I should probably put a thing, learn how to do the pop-ups or whatever you call them, but learn how to subscribe, or not learn how to subscribe to the channel, and that's about all I can say at this point. So subscribe to the channel. We're going to put it out for about 2 weeks. We're going to figure out a way to randomly select, most likely, a subscriber to the channel. Okay, the terms are this for the contest. Simply send me a PM using your screen name and mention Trauma Kit Contest in the heading, and then I will know that you are entering your name or your account into the contest. And then from there we will randomly pick one winner from that, and we'll give it 2 weeks. So you'll have until July 3rd. Maybe I'll go to the 4th because this is probably going to come out tonight. So maybe let's go to the 4th, August 4th. So that gives you 2 weeks and half a day. So, you know, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, and right after you subscribe, PM us, and then you send me a PM, and then basically you'll be entered into the contest to win this thing. And you know, maybe in the message put in there why you want it, why you want to use it, a little information, some fun stuff about yourself. Nothing crazy, you know. If you don't want me to share it, I won't. But you know, just a little something. You don't have to, but it's always interesting to know where people are coming from. So that's all it is. Go forth, enter the contest, and hope to get anyways to know some of you, and hope you enjoy it.